we spent a lot of time at Google trying to measure everything. We had this really weird process of understanding what to do. One of our rules was opinions are great, but data is better. Everyone's got opinions, so go gather some data. We had a process whereby you could, as an engineer or a PM or actually anyone, you could kind of build, you had an idea, like, okay, I'm going to build a little product. And you can launch it internally. That was like essentially no friction. You could just do whatever you want, who cares? And then, once you did that, you had to report on it. So what you had to report was % user growth week on week. So if you have 1 user week 1 and 2 users week 2, that's a pretty big percentage growth. And the reason we measured percentage growth week on week is because to the extent that's growing, it means that your app has found a niche and people care. Right? To the extent it's flat, you've basically addressed all your market. Right? If it's dropping, then your product's a failure. So mostly after a few weeks, people looked at their % user growth. If it was negative, they killed the product and went home. If it was flat, they tried to think through what are people using it for. And if it was growing, they got to go to the next step. So it went from an internal launch to a corporate launch, to a labs launch, and hypothetically, ultimately, to a .com launch. But we, all the way up to the end, basically just measured % user growth because we don't know what customers want, but we know what they do. And just using that allowed us to build spell correction, which is still our most important feature. It allowed us to build the way maps change. It allowed us to do machine translation. All these things that are massively cool features are all simply because we watched what people did and looked for % user growth. And when we found growth, we chased it. Because marketing folks all think that they listen to their customers because they all run focus groups. And so I felt a bunch of stories about how focus groups just epic fails. And so like this notion is you can measure what customers do. Offline, online, doesn't matter. That data is always out there. But people usually ignore it, A, because it's hard, and B, because it's so much more compelling to look at someone and tell a story. And like ask them, what would you like? If I had asked my customers what they want, I would have built a faster horse. Henry Ford. Apocryphal, false. But such a great quote, I don't care that it's false. I think that's the most important, the most important business issue we face in any era, but particularly in an era when so much change is being driven by so many exogenous forces, is understanding what the hell our customers actually want to pay us for.